Welcome to Early Days, the podcast where the seeds of innovation and entrepreneurship take root. It's proudly presented by our friends at Proust Chown. We dive deep into the journeys of trailblazers who are shaping the future, and we're shaping the future almost through food today. Janice Krissa Moore, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I'm really happy to be here.
Danya, Ukraine, but before we get into that, I want to start out with something with you because I know your foundational experience has to be your work with junior achievement here in Northern Alberta. Talk about that journey a bit.
Yeah, for sure. You know what is funny? My journey with JA started in 1988. So I was a student. I took the program. So I was in grade 8. So it was a long time ago. Obviously, working for the organization was amazing. Junior achievement, if I was just sum up probably what I'm doing today, they were nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And so they do truly believe in peace can be achieved through economic prosperity. And I think that that was always something that really resonated with me. My values very much aligned with JA and just, you know, the business side of things, the humanitarian side of things, and democracy as well.
Okay, in grade 8, I was going curling, and you're thinking about this. We're on different levels. How do you get inspired by something like that?
I think it was some volunteers came to the school, and I signed up for the program. I was a child of 2 teachers, so it was very difficult to pick a career on what I wanted to do. And so junior achievement really opened my eyes to so many different things, and it opened my eyes to the business world because it was something that wasn't taught in the mainstream schools. Mm-hmm. And so when I worked for JA, I just wanted more students to experience what I had experienced. Very, very impactful. And then, of course, we had the Alberta Business Hall of Fame, and our community is so wonderful. And the reason why our community here in Alberta is so wonderful is because of so many of the entrepreneurs. So it's like a true honor to work for JA.
Mentorship seems to be a real theme in everything you do. That probably stemmed from that as well, did it?
Oh, of course. Like I learned so much from the laureates, but even before then, I think mentorship was so important because it's sharing your knowledge on both, and it's so important on both sides. You need to teach in order to get better, and you also need to learn. And if we can do the 2 things at the same time, we're going to go further ahead. So with mentorship, having a mentor in my life, I learned from some of the mistakes they made and some of the successes that they had. So you don't want to repeat their mistakes, and you also want to learn from the successes and build something yourself. And then I found that I also needed to share my successes and my failures with others to help them grow. And watching people grow is so fulfilling. It really is about building.
Because you've played a real pivotal role in fundraising for educational and mentorship programs, raising significant amounts. And that kind of all ties into what you just said, doesn't it? One's feeding the other, basically.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, education to me has always been so important because I think it's a tool that can change the world. And education comes in so many different forms. It's not just about being in the classroom, even being on this podcast today. I'm learning. I learned a bit about you and your background and all the things you did. And I think that it's just, if we can fund that, foster it, encourage it, the world's going to be a better place.
So what are some of the strategies that you find that are effective in securing resources for these types of programs that you're raising the money for?
So nobody really wants to be a fundraiser.
That's true.
It's so funny. They don't like to ask for money and stuff. But for me, I didn't feel like it's asking for money. It was about asking for an opportunity to change the world. So if I believe in what the mission is of what I'm, if you want to call it selling or fundraising for, I really believe in the mission. And if you just explain it, people will want to get involved with you. It's not really about like, oh, this person has lots of money, I need to ask them to make a donation. No, that's never, ever going to work. They have to understand and believe in your mission in order for it to be successful.
Do you remember your first time where you made the pitch and did you get into your car and go, yes?
I think that it was always gradual for me. It was about building relationships, seeing if there's some shared values there. I do remember asking for a major gift once, and it was actually at a post-secondary institution. And the president and I had a little conversation before, and he had a number in mind, and I had doubled the number in mind. And because like, you can offend people if you ask for too little, and you can offend people if you ask for too much. And I remember my boss said, Janice, you're going to lose your job if you ask for too much and it goes sideways, because the president doesn't want this number being asked for. And I said, no, this is what the donor wants to do. And then when I asked for that very, very large number, the donor said, thank you, that's exactly what I wanted to give. Because she wanted to make a huge impact. And so I knew that she wanted to kind of own that piece of the project.
So if you're talking them fundraising, would you say the key is that don't think it as trying to score money? It's more about making sure this is a fit for whoever you're approaching.
Absolutely. It's about making an impact. Yeah. What impact do you want to make, right? And then aligning that. There's so many tools you can find out information, and also really getting to know that donor, because you want them, they worked really hard for their money. And if they want to make an impact, it was kind of my job to help them make that impact. So I have to share information with them about what their funds can do and how many people and how many lives it will help and touch and expand, right?
And it's a process too. It's not just one little meeting and over. It's something over time that you're nurturing this relationship to make it a partnership.
Exactly. Partnership's the best word I could think of. And I think, it takes sometimes it can be quick, but it can take up to 18 months, right? Get to know the organization, get to trust the organization, and see some of the great work that they're doing.
So now let's move on from mentorship and fundraising to your humanitarian efforts, because the free store for Ukrainian newcomers, I've talked about it on my radio station, because I just find it a fascinating model. So talk about, first of all, how you figured, I've got to do this.
So it actually dates back to 2018. I'm of Ukrainian descent, and unfortunately, I was the first person on my father's side of the family to ever visit Ukraine, because of, there's a lot of, it was a difficult road in Ukraine, and people who came to Canada, I've yet to meet anyone who's moved to Canada for the weather. They're usually leaving a really terrible situation. And of course, my ancestors left a really difficult situation, and the men in my family could not go back to Ukraine. It was just something that we didn't talk about much. And so I did visit Ukraine in 2018. And then about 2 months later, I went back a second time because I fell in love with the country. I fell in love with the people there. And I happened to work on a little movie called They Who Surround Us. So I went with the director and writer, the star of the film, Troy Reptash. We went back to Ukraine and we found his family. He didn't know how to read and write in Ukrainian, but I did. So I helped him with that. And I became the associate producer. So that movie, the research was really, it was a very emotional experience because we were researching why Ukrainians left Ukraine to come to Canada. And we were kind of diving deep into the journey that they had from coming from Ukraine to Canada. So it was very personal, and it was also supposed to be history. So when the war happened, there was many sleepless nights. I had some very close friends in Ukraine, and there was times where I didn't know where they were. One of my closest friends was in a Russian-occupied village, and I didn't know if I was ever going to see her again. And we would get contact. Some days we'd have contact. Some days there would go 2-3 days where we didn't have contact. And probably at day 12, after February 2022, I was talking to her on the phone at one point, and she said, you know what, it's been 12 days and I've got one freaking pair of underwear. And as a woman, and you kind of think about that, and her kids had been sleeping in cellars, in cars, and they didn't know where they were going. They were homeless, and they had left a beautiful home. And so a lot of my friends wanted to help. And they said, what do you need? And I'm like, underwear, right away. I need this. And I don't know, like clothing and things. And so I started the collection in my house. And then before you know it, my basement was full with stuff, because I think everybody at that point, they didn't know how to help and they wanted to do anything they could. So we had this collection going. Her brother came from Canada and he went to meet her in Poland and brought a lot of stuff for her to start her life. She left Ukraine with one very small suitcase, and I had all this stuff left here in Edmonton. So we took it into my friend's space, and we thought we would be open for 2 weeks just to get rid of it. But Canadians kept coming and Ukrainians kept coming, and the store stayed open for the entire time that the QIT program stayed open. Helped over 20,000 people.
How does that make you feel?
Honestly, like at times, like it's sad and it's beautiful. I have received some recognition, and I wish I didn't get it from this, because it's so awful where it came from. But I'm seeing results now of people's, like today, this morning, I got to fill out an employment letter for a woman who's buying her first house.
Wow.
How amazing is that? And they're going to start their life here, and we're still keeping our beautiful culture alive here.
You gave me an amazing statistic. You know, the initial immigration of Ukrainians years and years ago was how many thousand people?
150,000.
How many have come since the invasion?
Over 250,000.
Over 250,000 new Ukrainians moving to Canada. And for them, they need a job right away.
Absolutely. It wasn't a refugee program. So if you've noticed, the word refugee isn't used for this program. It's a work permit. So it was a different program. And there's been successes, there's been failures. Some people did go back to Ukraine, and a lot of people did stay, and they needed the help from all those donations. So everyone who donated to the Free Store, thank you. They really appreciate the help, and they're doing things with it. And I know that many have found jobs, and many are excited to start their new life here.
They just want to work.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, you want to make your own living. It's your own self-worth, right?
Absolutely. And they just want to be able to live freely. And we know that this war is about freedom and fighting for the free enterprise system that we enjoy here in Canada and in North America.
So the Free Store, when did it shut down?
So actually, at the end of August, where it officially shut down, we started to slow things down and go more into settlement services. So the Ukrainians really got what they needed. I have been in countless, Jackie, like it's so beautiful. I've been in countless homes where everything was donated. Every towel, every pot, every dish, the forks and knives, everything, the lamps, were all donated. So they were kind of set up. They've got their homes, they're getting jobs, but there's still trauma from the war. And healing is more successful when you heal together. I even stepped back from some of that because I never left the war myself. I don't know what that's like. And so for them to have that safe space to heal together, they did a lot through art and through friendship and through sharing, and they still will do it to this day. They'll have to keep that community going.
So now this leads me into the latest venture, Danya Ukrainian Kitchen, which I had a sample before the show. Outstanding. Oh, as a former judge of the Bubba's and Borscht Festival, that was unbelievable borscht. Talk about the kitchen. Where did this one come from?
This was, that's the one that really, really changed my life. So with the donations, Canadians were coming to the Free Store. And within probably 3 or 4 months of this whole thing starting, all of the volunteers, they transitioned from Canadian volunteers, all the volunteers became Ukrainian volunteers. So again, healing. They had gone through the process, they came to the Free Store, they got their stuff, they still wanted to stay connected and they wanted to help other Ukrainians coming. So they volunteered and they helped them get their stuff and so forth. And they also built this amazing community together. It almost became like this ritual of visits. So when Canadians would come and bring stuff, they'd say, oh, you're from Ukraine. I love Ukrainian food. I'd like to order some. And so 2 girls came to us and they said, can we just try? Can we try? And we said, okay. So we set up a website. We took some orders online, 17 orders to be exact. And then we found out we needed to have a commercial kitchen. And I think you'll like this story. So we didn't know what to do. We were like, oh no, we need a commercial kitchen. We've got to deliver these orders. So my daughter was working part-time at Cook County Saloon.
I've never been there. Okay, I've spent the odd night there.
And so she said, they're not busy during the day because everybody comes to Cook County at night. Should I ask? I said, yes, do it. We need a kitchen. So they said yes. It was their chef, Matthew Potts. He said, yes, come bring these girls. So we brought our team that were going to cook all this food to Cook County Saloon, and they didn't speak English. So I said to Matt, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry they're not speaking English. He goes, no, this is beautiful. He goes, I'm First Nation. And my language was taken away from me. He goes, tell them not to stop. I love this. They were singing in Ukrainian, speaking in Ukrainian. He goes, tell them to keep doing this. Well, the media caught on to this, and the other cool thing was the Ukrainians had never ever seen a cowboy, only in the movies. So we had Ukrainian newcomers cooking in a country bar and a First Nation chef. The media loved the story, so it took off. Within 30 hours, we had over $30,000 in orders, and I said, we have to stop. My daughter said, keep it going. I said, where are we going to cook all this? So we kitchen served, and we were in, commercial kitchens in churches. And then we met a gentleman by the name of Scott Kelly, who said, I love what you're doing, and I'm going to build you a kitchen. And he had very much, going back to JA, he goes, this is beautiful. Like, you've created jobs. Like, I want to be part of this. We didn't ask him for anything. He built us the kitchen for free and refused to take rent from us. So that's where we started. And ever since that day, we've been busy.
So what are your future aspirations for Danya's Kitchen?
We are working on a cafe right now. We're being mentored by one of the founders from Starbucks. So he's taught us to get into different, he's taught us to get into hotels. So our first hotel, we seem to have a bit of like a little cloud over us. Our first hotel was Moline Lodge.
Okay, dear. Oh, out of Jasper.
Yeah. So our full team went there and we had the full menu, but that's okay. The Edmonton Country Club picked us up. Cook County still serves our varaniki, our pierogies, through their food services. And our food's an Italian center shop, and we'll keep going. We're going to build it into I want really, really good borscht and really good pierogies all over Canada. We're going to continue. We're getting into Calgary. We're going to be at the Italian Center shop in Calgary, and we're opening our own small cafe. And then I hope that there's 100 in 10 years where you and I come back and have another chat.
I would love that. How many are you employing right now?
So altogether, we have 6 cooks, and we have 2 students that also help us with the markets and distribution, myself and my daughter. And in the entire organization, we've had up to 18 full-time staff.
So for word of mouth now, are there still Ukrainian newcomers coming?
There is a few, however, the QIT program, which was the Canada-Ukraine Authorized Emergency Travel Program.
Very impressive that you remembered that.
I've been calling it QIT. It ended March 31. Okay. So it's very few. There are still some coming, but very few Ukrainians are coming. And I support that decision. I think that, the war's been on now for over 2 years. It's coming up 3 years. And there has to be a point where we have to continue our life. And I have full faith that Ukraine is going to have victory in this. And it's a long battle. It's hard, but we have to continue life here.
And for the people that are working at Danya's Ukraine's Kitchen, are they figuring now this is Canada's my home?
Yeah, our dream is so that we want to franchise this eventually. Our dream is so that each of the founding girls in this kitchen have their own donya. And we were in Banff and Canmore this last weekend, and we were kind of at the Grizzly Paw beer restaurants, and you know how they each have their own thing? We were like, wow, this could be us. It was very cool. Very cool experience.
So they're dreaming. I love that. And is Donya something in Ukrainian we should be aware of?
Yes, so it means daughter, but it doesn't just mean daughter, it means the favorite daughter.
Oh, that'd be me.
Of course. And well, we think every woman is a daughter, but not every woman is a grandma or a mother, but every woman is a daughter. You are a Donya.
That is true. I'm a Donya.
There you go.
For those that have been listening to the podcast or watching it, if they're inspired to make a difference like you have, not only with the free store initially, but now with Donya's Kitchen, what advice would you give them about starting and nurturing a community-based business such as Donya's?
I think it's important to, as long as you believe and you feel like you're doing the right thing, you have to really believe in what you're doing because it's hard. There's days where I didn't sleep or, it's emotional, you're happy, you're sad, everything. So being prepared for that and just absolutely, you can't ever give up. It's not quitting because it's hard. But it's so fulfilling at the same time. And also, I think it's important to have plans and to set goals. And we're reaching most of our goals now. Like we wanted our own space, we wanted our own kitchen, and that's happening right now. I got so much inspiration from the Spinelli family, like what Frank Spinelli did, what Teresa's done in our community. And so my dream was, I'm like, one day we're going to have our product in their shelf. And last Friday, guess what? It even exceeded. They said, no, we love the borscht, so we're going to serve it in the cafe, and we want your frozen food on the shelf. So set those goals and they'll become reality.
What was the thing that stressed you out the most?
Oh, it stressed me out the most. Oh boy, my daughter. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, she's so amazing. It's so strange to think she's my business partner now. What stressed me out the most, I think it was like, just like I knew we were really slow in January after Christmas. Christmas was crazy. And so you kind of, oh, wow, the sales are great. And this is so awesome. And in January, boom, nothing. And laying off any of our staff for me was not an option. So figuring out how we were going to make things, get those sales up again and make things wonderful again. And we did it. We did do it.
Any advice of working with your daughter?
Working with my daughter? Oh, you know what? We always say it's unbelievable because we have so many shared values. We actually sound a little alike on the phone, so
that's handy.
Yeah, it is handy. And we almost know what we're thinking. The one thing that I find could be a little challenge is sometimes I forget she's only 25 because she's been just, immersed in this, and I'm so proud of her. So proud of her.
Oh, that is wonderful. How can people get a hold of you? Suddenly they want to say, hey, we can help her out. I've got something here for Donya's Kitchen. How do they find you?
We've got our website. So Donya, DONYA, Ukraine.ca. That's our website. So Donya's, and we're also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Please follow us. We highly recommend, because Christmas was crazy. We were lined up out the door. People were buying, the girls were pinching pierogies and they're like, I'll take them. They were taking them from their hands. Getting in touch with us early and booking those caterings. I think we were in every office tower in Edmonton because everybody seems to love Ukrainian food at Christmas and they wanted it for their lunch. So you can find that on our website or on our Facebook pages, LinkedIn. Shoot us a message, we'll book you.
Janice, thank you. This is incredible. And best of luck with the future plans.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
Thanks for listening to Early Days. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Proust Chown. In the world of entrepreneurship, their support is invaluable. They have an array of services. Go check them out, Proust Chown. Thanks for tuning in.
This series is proudly produced by the team at Road 55. Road 55 creates content that connects. For more information, visit our website at road55.ca.